Hey, it's Chris Jenkins here without my sidekick. I say sidekick, my great friend, my co-host Lauren Reese, who again, just want to remind you at the top of the show, she was out today. She has COVID and she'll be rejoining us as soon as she is back to health. So appreciate your prayers and thoughts for Lauren as she recovers to get back out here in the press box covering the Carolina Panthers alongside with me. But I'm Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. Today, the Carolina Panthers did not get the results that we were hoping they'd get, falling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and good old Tom Brady. Final score in this game was Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32, Carolina Panthers 6. Lots to talk about today, but before we go too far, let me just ask for your favor and subscribing to this YouTube channel. The more subscribers we get, the more that we can do. If you haven't checked out our one-on-one interviews, please do. I have done tens and tens of those. Many I've done this year as well. And also, it just helps us to get more interviews with players that you like us to see. We love working for you. So hit that subscribe button. If you already have, hit the like button. That helps others discover us, which still helps us to grow. So lots of stuff going on today with this Carolina Panthers loss. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me properly. I see Tyree Ross has joined. I see Felix Graham has joined. Hey, you guys, let me know if you can hear me okay before I get too much into everything that I want to go over today. And then as soon as I get the first confirmation, I'm doing this because in pregame, I had some people let me know that they could not hear me properly. So before I get started too far in the postgame, I'm gonna make sure you guys can hear me. And I'm gonna step off camera for just a second because I did not get my water. As you all know, my voice will get a little crazy sometimes. And then we'll get going here. So I haven't heard otherwise that things are bad. So I'm going to get ready to get started here with this show once I get everything in place. How's everybody feeling? Today was Cam Newton's last game here at Bank of America Stadium. Well, judging by everything that happened today, it could very well be Cam Newton's last game. As I said, Matt Rule's press conference was full of excuses. All right, so we look like we're up and running. Everybody can hear me, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'm actually going to play a piece of Matt Rule's press conference because he said, I didn't get a chance to ask the questions that I wanted to ask, but it was still a lot of interesting things that were said during that press conference. But let's go ahead and get started with some of the stats from today's game, which to me tells a good story about everything. Let's get started with, you see here, the quarterback stats. We did have the play of, well, before I show the stats, we did have Cam Newton starting as Coach Matt Rule promised that he would. And then we had Sam Darnold playing. Now, Coach said he did not all want to reveal what the exact game plan was today for Sam Darnold to come out there. Pre-game, I said, hey, I just don't really once Cam does something bad, I don't know how much rust Sam may have. And then Sam come out there and does something that makes it just like a clown show. But I mean, even without that happening in that exact order, it was still so interesting to watch this game unfold in terms of Cam out there, then Sam out there, then Cam back out there, then call a timeout as soon as Cam comes out there. It's like, it was a little bit, as you guys have mentioned, it was the words used, was a clown show. It was quite interesting. But let me go ahead and put these stats up. Sam Darnold today was 15 of 32 for 190 yards, 4 sacks. So unfortunately, both quarterbacks were under a lot of pressure today. And man, I did not check my internet connection before I got going here. So I'm going to actually try to switch something because I got a feeling that the broadcast may not be that good. My bad. I can get this changed here on the fly. Give me just 1 second here. We might drop out for a second, but I'm going to get us on a different internet connection. It's trying to rush and forgot here. So if it pauses, it's going to come right back on here. All right, I could not make the switch, it seems like. Hold on for everybody watching. I'm trying to change the the broadcast, the signal that I'm on. There we go. Look like we have switch connections. All right, successful switch of connections. I'm sorry here. Trying to do a lot. I'm gonna take a picture and post it post-game, let you see what all I have going on here equipment-wise. But the switch that I just made should ensure that we don't have any problems with the stats that I'm showing you guys here today. Let's go to Cam Newton. Cam Newton was 7 of 13. Cam just did not get much action in the second half. 61 yards, 1 interception, and 3 sacks. So just from looking at those stats, just seeing how much more Sam got to throw the rock compared to Cam getting to throw the rock, you would have to say that this Carolina Panthers team, Coach Matt Rule, they really, really want to see what Sam can do, and they're pretty much just going to try to use Cam just for the advantage they can of him being a good rusher for the team and presenting that dynamic. Coach Rule did not want to specify in the postgame as far as who would be his quarterback, but again, just going off these numbers that I showed you today, and it seems like that's what they really want to continue to find out. Sam didn't do anything to say now he should not get that opportunity to play more games. He certainly looked okay. He had some flashes, came out right away, connected with Shi Smith for about a 60-something yard play. So let's take a look at the rushing, which to me was some telling stats today. Cam Newton rushing today. He was basically our rushing attack, as you see here. Cam Newton rushing for 5 times for 42 yards. And then after Cam, it just really drops off dramatically from there. Drops to Chuba Hubbard with 6 carries and 9 yards. Amir Abdullah, 2 carries, 1 yard. Sorry, you get to see me take a drink there. But in looking at that, it shows that Cam Newton, as far as Matt Rule and his coaching staff, at this point seems to be very used as a rushing attack more so than a throwing attack. And as you look at this, those stats that I was showing you, well, and you're watching the game, you go and think, man, what is up with Antonio Brown? Can we stop Antonio Brown? He's just, like, you know he's going to get the ball. You know he's his biggest weapon. Yes, Gronk was out there, but they just kept going to Antonio Brown, and he kept delivering. Credit to Antonio and Tom Brady. So I don't normally show stats from the other team, but Antonio Brown, 10 receptions, 101 yards, and he had 15 targets. So just at all could not stop Antonio Brown. But let's go ahead and go to the press conference from Coach Rule. Give me a second here. I got to put on my headphones just to make sure I hear the audio correctly. And also want to plug, each Monday I do Ask Me Your Carolina Panthers questions. That show will continue tomorrow. And we're going to have the athletic Joe Person on the show taking your questions along with me. So please join us tomorrow, 7 p.m. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit that bell notification so that you can know when we go live. As Joe and I will spend some time taking your Carolina Panther questions. So I'm going to try, bear with me here, but Coach Rule talked at length today about a lot of things that are going on with the team, not being where we all want them to be, how he feels about a lot of things. So I'm going to try to get this playing for you here. So bear with me. I think we're going to make it. One second, we're almost ready for it. Let's see if I can get this button pressed. One second.
Yeah, I don't know that, like I said, I don't know that anyone wants to hear that, nor should they. I just think when you look at most teams that start over. Like last year, you guys would call it a rebuild. I always try not to use that word. I'm like, well, you know, it's a building. But like, you walk in the building and people leave, James Bradley, people they're not my, and you're kind of like, hey, left over. It's like you see the Will Smith, the freshman to LR, everyone's kind of looking around the house like a lot of people left. It's like, okay, we got to start over. And so I hate it for our fans that we're not winning. And I know how much they want to win. I hear it from them. You know, I hear you. But Dave hired me. He said, I want it done right. I want it done for the long term. I want you to build it with young players that grow. So like when I look out on the field and I see the Jeremy Chambers and the Stanley Thomas Olivers and the Miles Hartsfields and all those guys, like sometimes you're not ready to win with a ton of first and second year players. But they're growing up in this system. They're growing up with the way to beat these things. And I believe that we've seen flashes of what we could be. We saw flashes in it. I think when we start over, and people have written articles, we didn't have a great 2019 draft, and we lost a lot of good players. Like, it takes a couple drafts to get there. So I don't say any of that as excuses. I say that as this is the plan. The plan was never like, hey, year two, like even when we won the first 3 games, it was like, we have so many things we have to fix. So to go into this year, lose Christian, you know, we said, hey, the plan's here. We said, hey, we'll go as far as we're going to play well on the O-line and quarterback position. And we've had to play 2 quarterbacks. Against any of these, we don't have some going there because we offensive line-wise, we haven't had some going there. So I see why people could say, hey, it's not working. You know, and some of the games like this 30-36, it's close. Completely understand that. But what we did was we made a decision to build it from the ground up with young players. And young players make a lot of mistakes sometimes. And a lot of target veterans. I think we hit free agency in the draft. We will sign a bunch of players that were here that did for a couple of years for us. I think when you look at guys on the offense for this, I think we look at the success of some players in this thing. You come from college, is he a college coach? Is he a college coach? Like, I see the success Coach Samuel had career for us. Man, I see the guys that are coming up now, they're going to be big dollar free agents for us. A lot of guys are having a lot of individual success and having their best years playing for us. If you just keep doing that, keep adding the right pieces, then eventually everyone, you know, you have a really good team. So we have some key areas that we have to fix. Whether that's to coach them better, to do a better job, start your own agency to become famous, become an organization. Like, it takes time. But I'll finish by saying I respect the fight. I respect C.J. Saunders waking up this morning and being like, oh, you guys need me, I'll be at the hotel in 5 minutes. We have a good group, so there's some good, healthy things happening. We got to win some games.
All right, so there was quite a bit there from Coach Rule and talking about this adversity that this team has been dealing with. And normally I'll try to take that and give you guys some pieces, but I wanted to play that full piece just so you guys could hear it with me as we talk here post game. And hey, as you see, I'm committed to win or lose. We can go 0-17. I'm always going to stand here, give you guys the best content, the best information that I can for you to help decide on how you want to feel about this team. So I hope you appreciate that and my commitment to you guys. Much more stuff coming. I'm already looking forward to the next season because I got a lot of excitement for everything that's going on. But let's go back to what Coach Rule was talking about. He's talking about a lot of the adversity. I don't even know what to call that speech, but I feel like that was some kind of speech and talking about all the guys that have left, the James Bradberries and the Luke Kuechly's, what he's had to deal with and trying to build this team. He talked about David Tepper and saying like, hey, I don't want you to build this team. And I've relayed this to you guys and why I felt like Coach Rule would get his 3 years. Like, hey, I don't want to just win, in 2019 or in 2020 or 21. I want to win consistently. And Rule talked about the fact that everybody knows he spent a lot of time a couple years ago building the defensive side of the line to build on the defensive line and side of the ball. Even this season here, Fitterer made a lot of changes or made a lot of moves to get us defense doing pretty good. And, you know, give them credit, the defense hasn't been enough to just be No matter what the offense does, which you can understand, that starts to wear down after a while. Guys probably starts to get in their psyche a little bit more than they want. Not to say it's dominating their mindset, but your offense today put up 6 points. Just totally not enough. Let me make sure it's right before I say 6 points. I know it's pretty bad. Yeah, put up 6 points. That's not enough. But he said that he believes in the guys that they have here. They have built some good guys that have left, like a Curtis Samuel and Man Hurts. So, he said to me a lot of true things. Will it be enough things to continue to keep him here? I don't know. And if you guys are watching, want to leave some comments now on what you thought about that, please let me know. And then I have a few things that I want to go over as we get ready to take your questions and round up. We did have a few injuries today. We had Stephon Gilmore that was here playing and then was ruled out with a groin injury. A few other things I want to point out. The win today does give Tampa Bay the NFC South, something they haven't had in quite a long time. And I know you say had the honor, but I saw them handing out the T-shirts right outside of the Tampa Bay locker room. So, I'm not a player, but it still kind of pains to see that they packed their shirts and brought them here to Carolina. It's no surprise everybody does that, but just to see it happen here in Charlotte, that they got to wear their T-shirts back to the bus and flying back to Tampa Bay. But that's what they achieved today in winning. And we also had somebody run onto the field for the second time this season now. Before this season, I can't say the last time that I saw a fan run onto the field. And I guess that's what we're going to now for entertainment here in Charlotte is, hey, if the team can't win, run out on the field. And they come to the same spot over here where I'm standing today and run onto the field. But nevertheless, a few things I didn't ask Coach Rule, which I'm going to try tomorrow. Again, that's why I continue to plug, subscribe, get your notifications. We called a timeout in this game after Sam's long pass and Cam goes in there. That was kind of strange to me because that seemed like something they knew that they were going to do. So I'm wondering what happened when they had to burn out that timeout. They had to do it again late in the game on the fourth down, burn the timeout. But that's it. That's all that I have. I want to get to some questions that you guys may have been popping up here, and certainly invite you to come back tomorrow with me and Joe Person that'll be on here. Let's see. Tyree Ross says, what's going on, Chris? What's going on, Tyree? Appreciate you tuning in. Felix Graham. All right, I got that first thumbs up on the books. Who's next? Yes, yes, your support is needed and appreciate it. Zai talked about Matt Rule's press conference full of excuses. So I asked the fans this, right? Because you guys have said more than one time, ask him the hard questions. And I feel like the hard questions are being asked to Rule, and he's responding. So from that perspective, when you say full of excuses, I don't know what you want the guy to say. He's taking responsibility. He explains himself. And I'm not saying that you should love him, that he should continue to be here. But I really don't understand why fans say, why does he keep giving excuses? He answers the questions, and he gives, at times, very lengthy responses to try to let you know where he is. Now, you don't have to like it. You can say you don't like what he's saying. Personally, I like that better than saying he has excuses. And, Shaq doesn't like Rule. What's up, Shelly Long? Appreciate you tuning in. Taylor Styles, fire Matt Rule. I know you don't agree, Chris, and you're probably right, but right now I believe he's not the guy. Do I feel like Matt Rule is not the guy? I feel like Matt Rule should continue. Man, I'm thinking you guys see me looking as I go to answer this question about Matt Rule being here next year. Oh, man. I'm going to defer right now because I want to get to some questions. And I feel like that's a cop-out, deferring, because previous to now I've been answering the question saying I think he will be here, but I haven't really dug deep into do I think he should be here. The one thing about if Matt Rule is not here that, I put this into the way I answer this question so that you all understand. You fire Matt Rule, you got to get rid of a lot. You got to get rid of probably your offensive coordinators. What happens to the general manager? Does he stay here? All of your coaching, all your systems. And when you do that, you set yourself back. You set yourself back, what you want to say, definitely 2 years, maybe 3 years, right? And well, let's say Matt Rule has learned his lesson, that he's making some changes. And right now, one of the things that he's handicapped by is that he can't, like he only has Sam, PJ Walker, and Cam, right? So that's all that he has, and everybody talks about the two quarterbacks. I feel like, no, it's not ideal, but he's just trying to say, like, man, what's the best that I could do with what I have? And so I feel like if you give him an off season and give him a very short leash, you potentially allow him the opportunity to learn from the mistakes that he's had. Yes, he's a college coach, doesn't have the NFL experience. You give him that opportunity to learn from what he has, and you give him that opportunity to build on. He's right, he did build on the defensive side. Give him a chance. He talked today about the offensive line, knowing that's a problem. Give him and Fitterer an off season with the seat hot under their butts, and give them an opportunity to change it. You also have possibly a new offensive coordinator that Rule would bring in if he doesn't continue to have his current guys serving that role. So I feel like there's a lot of possibilities of the ship being able to be right. You look at the way the games have started when they're scripted. The Carolina Panthers do go down the field and they get in scoring position. They've done that several times since Brady's been out. So I feel like there is something to build on versus just tearing it down and just starting all the way over. Something to think about. All right. Appreciate the comments here. I'm going to broadcast for probably about 10 more minutes. You guys said, what's the mood out here? Give me 1 second if you can. Actually, yeah, give me just 1 second if you can. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So what I would like is to go ahead and answer some of the other questions that came on. So the mood out here is, it's a lot of people just saying Merry Christmas. So much for this year. It's kind of like, you can tell people just want to get home and get to their families and get on. And it seems like everybody here has said like, hey, this season's over with, this season's done, and everybody's looking forward to the offseason, what things can be. That's what I get from the press box. Fans, they emptied out pretty quick. They were slow to get here, number one. This is the other side for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay Buccaneers were on this side, and there was a lot of red here. So I feel like a lot of fans are honestly already giving up. They were fans booing when Sam Darnold came out. And it's, as the rules say, you may not like it, but it's understandable. We're not getting the results that we want to get. Shelley Long says, Brown trying to remain in the NFL. Any news yet on Gilmore? It's not, I know it's soon, but just asking. No, I do not have any more news on Stephon Gilmore. It did seem like it seemed like it was growing, and they did say that it was his growing. So as soon as we get more information about that, look for me to have some more information about that tomorrow. Felix, Chris, I hope you and the family had a great Christmas, and I'm looking forward to the big things you've got in store for us next year. Yes, family is doing good. All the kids were here. Today, my grandson came to town, so I have not got a chance to spend any time with him, so I look forward to spending a couple days with him once I get off this broadcast tonight. But thank you for the wishes, and wish you all as well had a Merry Christmas. Rule has to go. Hey, and I'm not mad that people want Rule to go. I'm not mad at that at all. I just like for there to be some logic to some of the things that people say. Seeing a few other comments here. Let's see, we know Gilmore's leg was an issue. He was still playing. I'm hoping it's not serious. So we will find out about that again at the latest of tomorrow. Chris, I get that sure you report covering the team, but man, this defense is also very bad. They had 0 sacks and gave up 32 points. So yeah, it's like it's the momentum, like all the air is going out the balloon and this team is struggling. So it happens. It's not exciting. They gave up 32 points. I was hoping and kind of thinking this would be a little closer than it was. But yeah, I think it was one punt early on, and then they had another punt late in the game. So it's, now I got to go back and do what I love to do, is watch the film and see if these guys are just kind of like me, waiting until it's over. All right, let me see if I can go through a few more questions here. I'm assuming the audio's good. Nobody has complained, which is a great thing. So from Chris, I like the name. Is there any reason why we don't play Yetur Gross-Matos more as a true defensive end? I don't have an answer for you on that, other than saying that it seems like I saw Yetur out there some today. It seems like he's getting more time, so I can better answer that again tomorrow. But some people say it seems like this coach is slow to play some of the younger guys. I haven't got that feeling, but it does seem like Yetur, and Coach said that Yetur can start to play himself into some more action. Ali says this is part of the growing pains. Yeah, absolutely some growing pains. Wow, we had no sacks today and gave up 7. Yeah, I think it was Cam 4 times and Sam 3. I could have those flip-flop. I mean, you're not going to win games with a lot of things that had going on today. You're not going to win games when you lose the turnover battle. You're not going to win games when you're giving up big plays. You're not going to win games when you can't score in the red zone. So it's definitely some growing pains, which again, that's why I kind of feel like I would like to see Rule get the opportunity to start a 3rd season. I don't feel like you would, and this is certainly debatable, about how much more of an advantage you get firing Rule now versus firing him, 4-6 games into next season. I think you already go to start having your eyes on some other people, but I think it's also some things that you evaluate there in terms of what coaches could you have, what players are out there. Maybe even if you feel like there's not a lot of huge players out there to get out in the draft in the quarterback position, you say, hey, keep this guy there, and we'll change later on. I don't know. I'm just giving you some comments off the cuff. Matt Rule must go. What did the fan base look like today, and what do you think about the Sam Darnold boos? So, yeah, it was a lot of empty seats, and it was quite a bit of Tampa Bay Bucs fans behind the Tampa Bay team. And there were boos for Sam Darnold today, and I certainly can see why. Sam is not as loved here as you might imagine that Cam Newton is. Cam has been here forever. Cam has took us to a Super Bowl. Cam has taught us how to dab. Cam has done the Superman. He's done so much. He's been a very big thing of a player for putting Carolina on the map. So there's so much love for Cam that you could understand why the boos come for Sam. And yeah, as far as do I feel any certain way about it, I don't, but it's like I get it. Felix says Rule didn't have sense enough to hire experienced NFL coaches. Instead, he hired his friends and players that played for him. He didn't even set himself up for success. Certainly, I think those are valid gripes. I mean, when they were building this team, you'd see all the guys from Temple. You're like, man, what is this? Just like Temple in the NFL, and things haven't worked out. So as Rule talks to Tepper, he has to not be afraid to talk about removing a lot of the Temple stuff, removing a lot of the friends that were here. And I think if he does that, that again could continue to help him be here. And if he doesn't say that, then I say, if this guy doesn't talk about significant changes to Tepper, then he shouldn't be here. And those are conversations, of course, that I'll never know how they go, but just giving you my opinions as you guys ask me these questions. Yeah, let me show this before I go to answer it. Ronald Bird asked if, before the game, my perspective on the O-line play and how I thought it would be. The trenches could not be that vulnerable. I hope we can change that in 2022. So, thumbs up if you haven't given one. Subscribe if you have not. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, and I hope that I'm earning that. It helps me to get player interviews, which if you haven't watched, I invite you to go to the channel and take a look at. O-line play is not good enough, and I do think that they tried some things to get the ball out of Cam's hands quickly, They tried to have Cam Newton running the ball, and I think those things worked as good as they could, but it's not enough. It's not enough. They need more time. You know, I think from my memory, Sam was under more duress than Cam was, and they both were running for their lives out there. But they have to improve the offensive line. I don't even think with what we have that there's an opportunity for us to really scheme and game plan around how poor our offense is, other than trying to get out early to where we have a little bit of a lead in a game, and we can have a little bit more flexibility in the plays that we call on offense, which would give our quarterbacks some time to throw the ball. But even our run attack today outside of Cam Newton was terrible. Normally you'll see that it seems like we can do a little bit on the run, and we have done a little bit on the run, but it just totally wasn't there today. Totally wasn't there today. All right, last comment. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. If Rule and Sam start the season next year, I'll say it again. The stadium will be empty and fan apathy will set in. Tepper will make changes if they start messing with the church's money. LOL. Hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in today. We'll continue to bring you coverage tomorrow. Joe Person from The Athletic, excellent reporter, will be joining me for my Monday edition of Ask Me Your Carolina Panthers Questions, so I hope you'll join me there. Again, the Carolina Panthers fall today to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Final score in the game, 32-6. Tampa does win the NFC South and will make the playoffs. Let me see if we are officially eliminated. We should be officially eliminated. I know I said we were eliminated several weeks ago. Let me scroll on down and see. Yes, the Carolina Panthers are also officially, mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Hey, I'm Chris Jenkins, live from Bank of America Stadium. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a good holiday, all right? Appreciate you, appreciate you, appreciate you.